Adoption. National Adoption Month in November raises awareness and increases outreach concerning the need for permanent families across the United States. Every year, there is a growing need for children of all ages to find secure and safe families. While the month sets out to raise awareness, it also recognizes those dedicated to impacting adoptive children and families in positive ways. From each family to organizations that make adoption possible, the month-long celebration acknowledges the commitments and rewards combined with an adoptive family. We produce 5 amazing videos per week, so please click on the like button and subscribe to see future videos. Like, comment, share, subscribe. How many Americans have adopted a child? Although no more than 2% of Americans have actually adopted, more than one-third have considered it. 1 out of every 25 U.S. families with children have an adopted child. According to the U.S. Census, about half of these have both biological and adopted children. How common is international adoption? U.S. citizens completed 19,942 international adoptions in 2007, which declined to 9,319 in 2011 as international adoptions became more restrictive. How common are open adoptions? Today, almost 60 to 70% of domestic adoptions are now open adoptions, which means there is a degree of openness and disclosure of information between the adoptive and birth parents regarding the adopted child. How many Americans are adopted? Around 7 million Americans are adopted. How many children are adopted each year? Around 140,000 children are adopted by American families each year. How common is adoption? Nearly 100 million Americans have adopted in their immediate family, whether this includes adopting, placing, or being adopted. 6 in 10 Americans have had personal experience with adoption, meaning that they themselves, a family member, or a close friend was adopted, had adopted a child, or had placed a child for adoption. What is the average age of an adopted child in a private adoption? 62% were placed with their adoptive families within 1 month of birth. How many people are waiting to adopt a child? There are no national statistics on how many people are waiting to adopt, but experts estimate it is somewhere between 1 and 2 million couples. Every year, there are about 1.3 million abortions. Only 4% of women with unwanted pregnancies place their children through adoptions. What is the most adopted race? 37% of adopted children are non-Hispanic white, compared with adoptive parents, 73% of which are non-Hispanic white. Overall, 40% of adopted children are a different race, culture, or ethnicity than both of their adopted parents. How many children are available for adoption in the United States? There are 108,000 foster children eligible for and waiting to be adopted. In 2014, 50,600 foster kids were adopted, a number that has stayed roughly consistent for the past 5 years. The average age of a waiting child is 7.7 years old, and 29% of them will spend at least 3 years in foster care. What is the average age of an adopted child in an orphanage? The average child waits for an adoptive family for more than 3 years. 11% spend 5 years or more waiting for a family. The average age of children waiting for an adoptive family is 8. How many children are in the foster care system in the United States? On any given day, there are over 400,000 children in foster care in the United States. In 2015, over 670,000 children spent time in the U.S. foster care. Unfortunately, instead of being safely reunited with their families or moved quickly into adoptive homes, many will languish for years in foster homes or institutions. How long does the average child spend in the foster care system? More than 60% of children in foster care spend 2 to 5 years in the system before being adopted. Almost 20% spend 5 or more years in foster care before being adopted. Some never get adopted. How many children are waiting to be adopted in the United States? Of the over 400,000 children in foster care in the U.S., 114,000 cannot be returned to their families and are waiting to be adopted. Among these children, males outnumber females. African American children are disproportionately represented, and over half are 6 years old or older.